Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Congregational Church of Littleton's Facebook page. I'm so glad that you're here with us this evening. Our reading comes from the Jesus Storybook Bible by Sally Lloyd-Jones, the same one we've been reading each week. Our reading this week is called Son of Laughter, and it is God's special promise to Abraham from Genesis 12 to 21. Here it is. Years passed, and things didn't get any better. People were still just as cruel and mean to one another. They still got sick and died. God's world was still full of tears. It was never meant to be like this. But God was getting ready to do something about it. He was going to make all the wrong things right, and he was going to do it through a family. Abraham, God said, how many stars are there? God was about to tell his friend a wonderful secret. Let me see, Abraham said, rolling up his sleeves. But have you ever tried counting stars? Then you know how hard it is. 993, 994, 997. Uh-oh, no, wait. 1, 2. Oh, of course, he kept losing count. Too many, he said. Guess what? God laughed. I will give you so many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you won't be able to count them either. Abraham couldn't help giggling at such a wonderful idea, but he stopped himself. How could he have a family? Don't be silly. He didn't have any children, let alone grandchildren. He wiped away a tear. Anyway, it was far too late for him to start having babies at his age. He was 99 years old. What could God mean? Abraham, God said, believe me. And then God told Abraham his secret rescue plan. Abraham, I will make your family very big, God promised, until one day your family will come to number more than even all the stars in the sky. Abraham looked up at the dark night sky, thick with stars. You will be my special family, my people, and through you everyone on earth will be blessed. It was an incredible promise. God was going to rescue the world through Abraham's family? Oh, one of his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren would be the child, the promised one, the rescuer. But it's too wonderful, Abraham said. How could it be true? Is anything too good to be true? God asked. Is anything too wonderful for me? So Abraham trusted what God said more than what his eyes could see, and he believed. Now, when Abraham's wife Sarah heard God's promise, she just laughed to herself. But it wasn't a happy laugh. It had tears in it. She'd always wanted a baby. Could her dream come true? Could she really have a baby when she was 90 years old? No, of course not. Don't be silly. It was far too late. Sarah didn't believe God could do what he promised. She had forgotten that when God says something, it is as good as done. Of course, it was easy for God to give her a baby son as it was for him to make all the stars in the sky. Here are Abraham and Sarah. Sure enough, 9 months later, just as God had promised, Sarah gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Isaac, which means son of laughter. And Sarah laughed. But this time it was a glorious, happy laugh. Her dream had come true. God would do as he promised. He would always look after Abraham's family, his special people. And one day, God would send another baby, a baby promised to a girl who didn't even have a husband. But this baby would bring laughter to the whole world. This baby would be everyone's dream come true. There they are. The end. Wow, what a story. Imagine that. 99 years old. And God comes to you and says, you're going to have a family. Your family is going to be so big, it's going to be bigger than the number of stars in the sky. But he's 99 and he has no children. I wonder what Abraham was feeling in that moment. What he felt about being told that he was going to have all these children. And that his children were going to have lots of grandchildren, and they were going to have lots of children, and his family was going to end up being so large. And then there's Sarah. Sarah's always wanted to have a baby. I wonder how she felt when she found out that she was going to have a family. And then 9 months later, it came true. She had her doubts at first, didn't she? Right? She couldn't believe it. She laughed a little bit. She's like, I'm 90. How can I have a baby? But she did. She had a baby, and their family grew, and it grew, and it grew, just as God promised. We here are all part of God's family. I wonder if you guys have ever thought, somebody's ever told you something that was going to happen, and you thought to yourself, how can that be true? Right? Is that really how it happened? I wonder if you've had anything like that happen. I wonder if you all remember, too, how much God loves all of us. And he is always there for us. And he sometimes makes promises, and he always keeps his promises. Well, that is our end of our time here today on Wondering Wednesday. I was so happy to have you join me. Just remember, no matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, you are always welcome here. And I hope to see you again next week for another reading from our Jesus Storybook Bible. We will read the very next story. Good night, everybody.